I'm going to review a movie. Don't really know how it's going to go, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. See if anybody enjoys it or kind of cares about what I have to say. But I'm going to tell you about it anyway. It's a movie called The Vigil, a horror movie that came out last week. It's pretty good. That's not the review. Don't worry, I will kind of go into it a wee bit more, but I enjoyed it. It is the story of Yakov, who is a guy living in America. He is broke and needs money, and he gets offered a job as a shawarma. So a shawarma is someone who will sit with a dead body, and they will almost protect the soul of the deceased. So they'll sit and they'll read like bits from the Bible and stuff like that, just to kind of make sure that the person's soul is protected and it's safe. So Yakov is offered a job as a shawarma, and he has to go and sit in a house that's owned by a lady called Mrs. Litvak. So Mrs. Litvak suffers from dementia, and her husband's recently passed away. Yakov is informed that the person who was the original shawarma upped and left and ran out because he probably didn't feel safe. Um, and that's sort of a sign of things to come, but it doesn't really put Yakov off. So Yakov accepts the job, and things start getting really weird. He starts hearing footsteps from upstairs, which he just assumes are Mrs. Litvak, and he starts seeing these like dark, shadowy creatures in the corner. Of course, when he turns the light on, there's no one there. Typical sort of horror movie so far. It He keeps seeing very weird things and very gross things. At one point, there are feet in the kitchen picking away at a tile, and a nail comes off, and it's just kind of gross. And it was probably the only part of the movie that made me look away. But it kept me very interested, and it kept me like kind of guessing what was gonna happen. There are, of course, like demons involved and stuff, and it's pretty much the story of how Yakov fights these demons and is able to escape the house, and can he save Mrs. Litvak in the process. This I'm attempting this to be a spoiler-free review, as I know people probably haven't seen it. It is a very strange movie. It didn't and doesn't have a lot of buzz because it's just okay, in my opinion. It's not a terrible movie. It's well worth a watch, especially in current times when there's nothing really coming out. Maybe that's why I enjoyed it. Probably more so than I should have, but it is definitely worth a watch if you're a horror fan. It's just very sort of basic. You know what you're getting into, especially if you watch the trailer. Kind of breaks everything down. There's no real surprises, no real twists and turns. If you're not a fan of people like cracking their knuckles or something like that, probably not the best movie for you to go and see, as there is a lot of almost, it's not rigor mortis, but like a lot of like really kind of like bones and on their body seizing up, and there is a lot of crunching throughout this movie. So if you're at a nervous disposition for something like that, definitely not the wisest choice of film. But if you're looking for a good sort of horror movie that's going to keep you entertained, it's going to keep you interested, maybe make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit creeped out, The Vigil is definitely the horror movie to go and do that with. There isn't a whole lot else out at the minute. In terms of my local cinema where I go to in the Omniplex, there isn't a lot of horror stuff that is coming out. With the exception of maybe Unhinged, which came out, which looks sort of more like a thriller. This is outright horror, and it felt really nice going to see a horror movie again in the cinema. If you want to feel that way again and you want to go and see something scary, this is probably the one for you. Very good film. I did enjoy it. I would probably give it a 5.5 out of 10. We'll probably reconsider when everything gets like going again, and we really get going again, and all the other horror movies and stuff like that are coming out. But at the minute, this is your best option, and I recommend you go see it. So, that was my first review. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm trying not to spoil anything for anybody, because this is one of my pet peeves, is when I get something spoiled for me. So these reviews, I'm going to try and keep it as spoiler free as possible when I can. Sometimes it might be hard, but I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna do my best. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll probably get back soon with another review. Probably one for Unhinged. We'll see how it goes. Thanks.